we let it burn for 4 minutes before we went into ignition. And
Right.
um, so about 30 seconds is when we start it. I can fast forward it just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's me right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Uh, We're flowing it at a 6%, stuck it in the nozzle. So there's a 2-inch nipple about 4 feet high that we stuck the um, Pro Pack in, and that's the low expansion nozzle. And we flowed it. And based on my calculations, it took about 30 seconds to get 90% containment. And that's one of the things that we marked on all of the foams. So most of the fire got knocked down in 30 seconds, which is really good, especially with this being a bigger tank than we had tested before. And so you can see we just do the
Right.
straight into the back.
Yeah.
You can also see on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a guy there by the Pro Pack with the fire terminator.
Yeah.
So we're flowing it at 6%, which is a little bit higher concentration. And so we had to refill it. And I thought it was interesting like how there's just that little spot where some of it's escaping the foam blanket, and it's just kind of burning there, and it kind of slowly dies down and then goes out.
Right.
And it creates, foam, not to get down the tangent, but it was interesting because the other foams we tested, the fire didn't go out until there was a foam blanket across everything. And then you see where the nozzle is. Usually that was the most difficult spot to put out because the condensate was burning along that hot edge, and I can show you video of that. Um, but that was the hardest part to put out, and
Mm-hmm.
this put it out pretty quick. And I have a total of um, 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and that's right there where it put out. So we put everything out, and it was done in 2 minutes, which was quicker than the Williams foam that we tried. So then we
Right.
stopped flowing, and these drone clips are 5 minutes long. So we let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we tried to relight it. And so I'll jump to the next video.
Yeah.
Are you able to see the new video playing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that the circling, right? It's just like rotating. Yeah.
Yeah, so the drone breaks them into 5-minute clips because I have over
Yeah.
100 gigabytes of video
Wow.
from the 3 tests. And so right down, can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our
Nice.
fire stick that we use to light it with. So I'm going to fast forward to 3 minutes on this video. You can see it's bubbling. That's how hot it is right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so at the 3-minute mark is when we try to relight it. The 3 to 310, I think. Maybe I just have it highlighted because this is kind of cool to see like how hot the tank was.
Mhm.
Oh no, sorry, I was wrong. I was just zooming in on this. So this is what we'll show in our video, based on my notes. So it's pretty hot. And then I got to go to 331.
Mhm.
So then this is 331 at the
Yeah.
minute 40. I got to fast forward. Okay. So that's me. I waited for the
Yeah.
5-minute mark. and we stuck that hot stick. It's just an element that heats up really hot,
Yeah.
and couldn't get it to light.
Mm, mm, mm.
And so I'm sticking it what looks like there's no foam. You can see a little flame there.
Yeah.
I was able to catch a little bit of something that was on that stick on fire, but I couldn't reignite the tank. And I'll show you a
Right.
comparison of this versus the other foams of what happened. So I stuck that element in there, a hot element that should have reignited it, and it
Yeah.
didn't work. So then, 332. So then we let another 5 minutes go by and we did a 10-minute check. And that's at from 220. Fast forward it just a little bit more. When they zoom in, you can see there's a hot element there. And I try to
Yes.
stick it in. I try my hardest to relight it. I stick it in there and you'll see like a little flash from when I'm dipping it in the condensate.
Hmm.
And it like there's no foam, so conventional wisdom would tell you that it
Yes.
should light off right away.
Right.
This is at the 10-minute mark. Like the foam is broken down around or in the middle, but it's
Yeah.
still packed around the edges. But for whatever reason, I can't reignite it,
Right.
which is part of that free radical thing. I think you
Mhm.
have talked to me
That
about.
is really been hanging around. Yeah.
And then the next one is the 330. This one's at the 315 mark. So this is at the 15-minute mark. You can see the hot element in there, trying to
Right.
reignite it again, and I can't get it to ignite. And I was like, I've got to be able to ignite it because, like, I'm dipping
Yes.
it in condensate. It should
Yeah.
ignite.
Yeah.
And this is what you were telling me about. If it gets hot enough, it releases those free radicals because I couldn't simulate that on the mason jars. But we were able to see it in this test, which was cool. And then I think this is just, oh, this is me still trying to relight it. This is the last one.
Yeah.
And then I pull that wand out, and you can see the wand is smoking. It's hot,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I
It's
can't
hot.
do it.
Yeah. Right.
So after we did this, we were like, well, it's kind of fascinating, and we are like, it'd be interesting to do, some more tests and see, this product in other applications, because it
Okay.
did impress everyone at the test, and we had Chevron, um, the oil and gas company. They were there, and we were testing the Williams Fire foam, and so they were able to see this test as well, and we're like, huh, it's very fascinating how it performed and how well it did put out. The only caveat I'll say is this tank, we first did the Williams foam on it. We let it cool down and settle. Then a couple hours later, we relit the same tank. So there was some foam product in there before. I don't think that really matters, but in transparency, like we lit this tank off, put T-Storm in there first, then came back and we were able to relight it without a problem, and then we put your product on it, and it performed really well. I can show you comparison of um, this is the Williams foam that we tested. So we were flowing foam in there. Let's see, I had to flow it for quite a while, and it took 14 minutes to put it out. when we were flowing the Williams foam, but this is at a 3%. We flowed yours at 6%. And that tank was hot. You
Right.
can see up here in this corner, this is the 10-foot tank diameter, and that's what we did all of our other tests on. And then when we showed up for the morning, they had these 12-foot tanks set up, and we're like, oh, uh, so our calculations were a little lean, because I
Mhm.
think you need like 18 to 20 gallons a minute per the NFPA standard to put these tanks out. But we
Mhm.
still floated at our 13 gallons a minute because that's what we had.
Mhm.
Um, you can see, I'll fast forward. So we were able to control it. That's like the 90% contained. But then we had to continue flowing this foam for a while because this hot edge right here, we could
Mhm.
not seal it as effectively. But we
Yeah.
didn't have that problem with your foam.
Yeah.
So this is that new T-Storm that they just came out with a month or two ago.
Right.
And so it took 14 minutes because we had to refill the Pro Pack a couple times. But in comparison, you can see this is the synthetic foam compared to the foam that you guys have.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
The Pro Pack, how many liters can you put in the Pro Pack?
Of